Actress Marlee Matlin first received worldwide critical acclaim for her debut role in the hit film Children of a Lesser God. Take a look.
He was warned about her.
Why doesn't she use her voice?
Sarah's not hard of hearing. She's totally deaf.
Sarah, you are the most mysterious, beautiful, angry person I have ever met.
Look, James, I've seen this kind of thing before. It just doesn't work.
I love her.
Don't be sad for you.
What began as a simple challenge
All right, I won't.
became a love story beyond words. Academy Award winner William Hurt
Man, you want to talk to me? Then you learn my language. Speak!
Marlee Matlin,
I don't hate you for not learning how to speak. Sarah, I love you.
Marlee Matlin's performance won the Academy Award, and at 21 years old, she became the youngest to win the Best Actress Oscar. Since then, she's added the roles of wife, mother, and New York Times best-selling author to her resume. All the while, her career has flourished as she has appeared in numerous television series, including The West Wing, The L Word, and more recently, ABC Family's Switched at Birth. She is also involved with a number of charitable organizations, most notably the Starkey Hearing Foundation, an international organization that delivers the gift of hearing to people in over 100 countries. Here to share more about her life and life's work, we welcome Marlee Matlin and her interpreter, Jack Jason, to our broadcast. Welcome to Full Frame.
Hello. Wow, Children of a Lesser God. I was just watching that, and I look so. That was only 5 years ago, so you know. No, I wish wishful thinking on my part. Hello.
You know, I saw that film with my wife, and I think she went through 2 boxes of Kleenex. I mean, it was such a fantastic film. Did you know? I mean, did you have a sense after that? They're just going to have to hand me that statue. I've got it in the bag.
Actually, in all honesty, I was only 19 years old when I did that film. Wow. I turned 20 on the set, and I had no idea where the movie was going to take me. I had no idea what was going on outside of the set in terms of the Hollywood community. I didn't think about it because, as I mentioned, it was my first film. It was the first of everything for me. So I didn't know even what an agent was. I didn't know what publicity was. I didn't know even what it entailed, what it involved to make a film work after it came out. In the Oscar race, the Golden Globe race, I was so naive. And I think, in my case, that was best because nothing was in my head. I didn't have to worry about clothing. I didn't have to worry about career. I just went I just went with the flow, and I learned everything as I went along, all the way to when I got nominated for the Oscar. Amazing. I've been thinking about it, and I tell my kids, I was lucky to have gotten that role, and ever since then, and I did that role, I've then worked hard to maintain my career.
How hard is it, though, coming out of the gates, and boom, you've got an Academy Award? You know, where do you go from there in some respects?
I have to say, I was living with William Hurt right after the film was done. And we're talking about, I was 20 and he was 35. And right out of the film, I moved to New York. I moved out of my parents' house just out of high school. There was so much washing over me, and learning about things like paying taxes and renting an apartment, all at this young age, supporting myself, having never done this before. And again, just going along with the flow. And the one thing that I think I learned a great deal during that time about myself was that I got sober, because I wasn't sober before that. So that was a big gift. That was probably the biggest gift I ever gave myself, was right after the film, I got sober. And I had to become an adult immediately. And that's how it went.
Was it always your goal to act, and who were your role models? Because I'm sure, you must be an extraordinary role model to a lot of people out there, but there weren't Marlees out there when you were coming up.
I have to say, I grew up wanting to be perhaps a nurse or a teacher or anything that was available to me. I even wanted to be a cop. Anything that was available out there that I found interesting along the way, I thought about. Nothing was ever set in terms of barriers. Although I started acting when I was 7 at summer camp, and I would do songs in sign language. I liked the stage, I thought of it, but my mom then took it one step further and took us to a community theater near our home where they had deaf and hearing kids performing together in deaf theater. And I got involved there, and I performed in various plays and musicals and enjoyed it because I wasn't into sports, so I didn't really have any other hobbies, and it kept me busy after school. Then I realized that I liked playing other people. And then when I got into high school, I decided I would experience other things other than going to work, which was doing theater work. But in the back of my head, I still wanted to be an actor. I just didn't know where. But when I was 12 years old, I met Henry Winkler. He visited us at the Center on Deafness, and he was there in Chicago for a charity event of promoting something for Happy Days. And we invited him to our center, and he came, and I'll never forget, because of course he was the Fonz, and he was the most famous person in America. And I told him I wanted to be an actor in Hollywood just like him. I was 12 years old when I said that. And just before he was about to speak, my mother took him aside and said, I know Marlee has dreams of being an actor, and they're big dreams, but don't encourage her too much to become an actor in Hollywood, because obviously Hollywood, all they want to do for a deaf girl is just to reject her. They wouldn't accept her. I mean, she was looking out for me as a mother, and I understand it, I get it. So Henry looked at her, nodded in his polite Henry way, and turned around, looked me straight in the eye and said, Marlee, sweetheart, you can be anything you want to be. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And 8.5 years later, I had an Oscar in my hand.
Wow.
So how is that? I mean, I knew in my head that I wanted to do it. I wanted to be an actor, and I worked for it, and I got it.
Wow, wow.
But he is a wonderful man, and we work together. We go out on the road speaking on behalf of mentorship, and I think it's extremely important for anyone who is trying to accomplish their dreams to have a mentor.
Tell me about the Starkey Hearing Foundation, and first of all, how did you get involved in it? And it's one thing to jump into something, but then to see the tangible impact of it, because I know you've traveled around quite a bit and seen it firsthand.
I was approached by the Starkey Foundation, I would say about 12 years ago. They wanted to give me an award for being who I am, I'm guessing. And I became fascinated and drawn to the work that they do on behalf of deaf children throughout the world, particularly in developing countries. I thought that this is something I want to get involved in, because I myself wear hearing aids, and I've been a hearing aid user for many years. I've always been, ever since I was a young kid. And I've always spoken as well, so I sign and speak. And I love wearing hearing aids because they work for me. I function better with hearing aids. That's just who I am. This is my personal choice, and it works for me. So when I saw what they did and what Starkey does, I loved it. And why not, I thought in my mind, be able to give the gift of hearing to kids in the world out there, particularly, as I said, in developing countries, a chance to hear if they can, when that chance doesn't exist. We're not forcing them to wear hearing aids. We're giving them the opportunity, and if they want to. The same as it was given to me. I want to be able to give back. So Starkey gave me that opportunity, and they do wonderful things. I can imagine, I mean, they've given more than 1 million hearing aids in 10 years. That was their goal. President Clinton helped them establish their goal through the Clinton Global Initiative to give out 1 million hearing aids, and they've exceeded that goal.
So talk to me about why hearing aids would be controversial within the community. I mean, why would people stake out that position?
I guess because some people in the deaf culture feel, I mean, listen, first we're talking about a very beautiful culture. Deaf culture is so beautiful. We have our own language, American Sign Language. We have people who have opinions, and some of those opinions may be that they reject this idea of making deaf people hear, to change them into hearing people, but that's not the point. It's like glasses. You need glasses to see, you wear them to assist. It gives you access to make you see better. The same with hearing aids. If they work for you, why deny the person the hearing aid? If it doesn't work, fine, so be it. Move on.
But did you see it coming?
Yes, I did. But again, as I said, it doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't change my mind in terms of helping Starkey out. Not at all. I'm not telling them what to do, what to believe. So, I mean, and again, it's a small group of people. It doesn't matter to me much at all. I have too much respect for my culture. I'm deaf, and it's all about personal choices. Whether I choose to wear hearing aids or not is part of the culture itself, too.
So Lizzie Weiss from Switched at Birth goes along with you to the Dominican Republic, and the result is an episode, actually, on the show. We've got a clip. We'll take a look at that real quick.
We have one more to try. Uno más. Ba 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 ba.
¿Oyes?
Ba 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 ba.
How's it going over here?
I just tried a 10. Nothing.
Okay, I'll take it from here. Por favor, vengan conmigo. Vamos a examinarle los oídos.
Gracias.
I want to get your thoughts on, first of all, did you think that that was going to be the outcome of all of this? I'm sure you just brought her along. And what were your thoughts when the episode came in?
It's funny because Lizzie Weiss has always asked me, what is it like going on these missions, because she knew that I had done them. And I told her all these stories, and she became fascinated. She likes various cultures. She's traveled a great deal, and she also speaks fluent Spanish. And so when I told her that I was going to the Dominican Republic, I thought, oh, wait a minute, she speaks Spanish. Lizzie, why don't you come along? And I asked her, why don't you write something like this for the show? And so, yes, she said she wanted to come along. And we had so much fun because having Lizzie there, you know, it's off the set. I got to know Lizzie better as a person, not as our executive producer. I got to know her as a mother. She's my boss. But I knew that she would enjoy it, and she had a blast. She had a blast. And I watched her fitting hearing aids on other people. And she went through, you know, the whole gamut of the young people, the old people, and the smiles and the tears. And I saw how rewarding it was for her. But you never know at the same time, because I didn't realize in the back of her head, she was working too. She was writing in the back of her head storylines, how it would play out on the show. I'm very proud that Switched at Birth included this. I have to thank Lizzie really, really for doing that.
Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about loyalty, because this guy right here has been with you, what, 30 years?
Where? Who? Which guy? Who? Jack here, who loves hearing him talk about himself. And that's perfectly fine with him. He and I have been working for 30 years. We met in New York City. He was at NYU getting his doctoral degree, and I needed an interpreter when I moved to New York with William Hurt, and we just clicked, and I never let him go.
Wow.
And he hasn't run away yet. I don't know how many times he wanted to, but no, that's what it is. 30? No? Yes, no.
30 years, so
30.
Do you ever, like, I'll ask a question, you're like, I already know what she's going to say. I mean, you must,
oh,
like,
no,
be
she
in her head.
and I have a communication that we...
I was going to say, you got, like, mind.
The best story is once that we were going to do an interview like this, and I, you know, you work together for a long time, you get in little arguments, and I just said, no, I'm not going to do it. And her publicist said, you have to go. And I said, no, I'm not, and go. So I sat there and I was like, being professional. And the first question was just like you just asked, Marlee, how long have you and Jack been working together? You work so well. And she, in her professional manner, said, and I had to say, Jack is one of the best people I've ever had. And I realized that I was interpreting my own apology to myself. And she had the satisfaction of hearing me apologize to myself. And I went, hey, I didn't even get to hear from her. I have to do it to me. That's the kind of funny relationship we have. We talk on planes together. We talk, I mean, it's like she's my, not wife, but no, she look at the look of horror on her face.
And that's not acting.
No, but Jack runs my production company, and I'm really blessed to have him. I don't have the mic to actually say these words, but I'm having Jack say them for me. But Jack, people remind me that you're so lucky to have Jack, and you should have, very grateful. He's been my right hand and my left hand guy because he's left-handed for the last 30 years, and we work well together. He works also on the set of Switched at Birth. He is the ASL master for the show, so he makes sure that all the actors are signing appropriately and the continuity as best we can.
Wow. One final question. What's next for you?
Well, I'm a mom of 4, so I'm going to be on the road, and lots of soccer, lots of swim meets, some family vacations. But I'm also producing some projects and waiting for the green light to make them, on to go. And I also have an app for teaching sign language called Marlee Signs, as well as a new Marlee Signs emojis. It's called Marlee Keyboard, where you can get sign language emojis too.
Wow, wow. Well, you never stop going. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
And you were terrific too.
Thank you, sir.
And I don't believe you. I think you probably have a headache by the end of all of this.